It's always a very interesting evening. I look forward to it every week because you know why, we share, everybody share, and we're learning from everybody. So it's a great thing. And yeah, so I'm Vera Chung. I am with Market Australia, but at the moment I'm in New Zealand. I'm hopping around quite a lot in Auckland, New Zealand, Melbourne, and Singapore. So yeah, and now we have our, as usual, we go to our 5 topics. Let's start with team sharing positive news. Anybody who wants to jump on and has anything to share with us about positive news? Otherwise, I can share one. This week, I've managed to talk to my neighbor. My new neighbor, most of the time she goes in and out, and I go in and out. So we never get to talk. And then she come around and wanted to cut the common hedge, you know, which overgrew into my garden. It was a good thing. And I went out and thanked her, and we started talking. And she asked, and then, you know, asked, oh yeah, you're retired and all that. I said, no. And then we get a topic of, what do you do? You know, so that's opening. And of course, I just casually mentioned that I have my own online business. And she said, oh, what do you sell? So that's what I want. I didn't tell too much, you know, we don't want to vomit, as Angie says. So I leave it for the next time. But that's a good opening. That's my positive news. Anybody has anything to share?
Yes, I got something I can share.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. I'm Judy.
Hello, Judy.
Hello, I'm Judy from Melbourne. So I got one positive news to share that on Sunday, I had a gathering with my girlfriend and her son, and we were having a really good lunch at somewhere nearby my house. And afterwards, because her son wants to come visit my house, so I welcomed them. And because we had such a big lunch, so I was making some drink for myself, which is digestive enzyme. And I asked my friend if she would like to have a bit of it. And she said, oh, what is that? I said, oh, just drink it, and it helps when you are being too full. And so she tried it, and I didn't say much about this is my product or anything like that. She knew that it's part of the product, but I just didn't sell. I just give a drink for her to have, and that's all. And yesterday she asked me about the prices and what is it and how to use it. So yeah, I didn't know that I accidentally did a trial size marketing, maybe. So yeah, so it was a surprise by sharing the product that we usually use and find helpful, and when people try and feel it, they know the goodness of our products and interested to, and now she becomes my customer now. Yeah, so that's
wow,
the good
congratulations.
news. And everybody can try it. Like if you have friends over for dinner or anything, feel free to make a drink for them to try. Maybe you will be surprised of the response.
Yeah, the digestive enzyme is always a very successful one to, you know, to bring it along to a dinner or something like that. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody else has anything? Otherwise, we move on. Oh, who else? Yeah, okay, Laila.
Zaleng.
No, yeah.
It's my turn?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Hello, my name is Zelin. I'm from Adelaide. So I'd like to share something. When I was in China in December, I did a healthy talk, talking about there is always a gap for supplements, because no matter how good your diet, and then actually there were 8 traditional Chinese medicine practitioners, and a couple of days ago they all checked the vitamin D, and 100% they have a vitamin D deficiency. But the good news is we actually have a vitamin D on the global now, because in the past I always order vitamin D from America and then post to them. So this is my news. Good news.
Yeah, that is great. Yeah. Okay. Okay, shall we move on to the next topic, which is Kevin Yip. The topic is the science behind isotonic. Do we have a screen? Sorry, I don't have. Do we have the screen on? Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin can share the screen.
Yeah, share screen. Yeah. Oops. No. Hang on. Wait. Hang on. Yeah. Okay. Kevin's topic is the science behind isotonics. Kevin is our senior partner, and he got a wealth of knowledge that he's going to share with us today. Over to you, Kevin.
Thank you, Vera. Now I'm trying to share my screen. Host disabled, participants screen sharing. Kitty?
Oh, feels like every time I have to do, let me, sorry. I'll have to change advanced setting for some reason. It doesn't let, okay, let me just, all participants. Sorry about that. Okay, I think it should be okay. Kevin, do you want to give it a try?
Yep. Okay, that's fine. Right. I think I've got to put it on the full screen. The science behind the isotonic products. Right. This is one of the fundamentals that everybody should know, because we all know that isotonic is probably the best, but why? Some of you might have seen a lot of this that I'm going to show you now, especially people like I think Lila has seen all this, and a lot of knowledge has been around for a very long time. But with the people who are newer here, you probably may or may not have seen it, but it is quite basic knowledge. It's something that we have probably learned in school as well, in science in school. So it's about the science behind isotonic. Right, now, nutritional support awareness. A lot of us consumers, we are not really very aware of what is out there and what is good and what is not good. If you go to a chemist or even a department store, or even Coles or Woolies, you see a whole ton of this thing, and especially with the chemists, you can find that for one single item, for example, you say a multi or vitamin C, there are 5 or 6 different brands of it, right? And even as a health professional, they cannot advise you which is the better one, which is the good one, which is the bad one. But generally, they are, I would say 95% or 99% of them are in a tablet form. So it's all about sales. So therefore, a lot of nice packaging is there, a lot of attractive looking stuff are there. So people will sometimes just look at the packaging, oh, this one is a nice one, I'll buy this one. So which is the best? The nice ones are better, or the not so nice ones are better? But a lot of these things that you find on the shelf, there's nothing really wrong with them. right? But some of them do consisting, in fact, a lot of these ingredients that you see here, which are not active ingredients, are present in most of the tablet form, gel caps and things like that. And things like such as chemical dyes, preservatives, it's very common. Talc is actually talcum powder. It's a powder that we use on the face, not really on the face. These days they don't use anymore. Long time ago they used it for the babies. Or they are starch, and they are also hydrogenated oil, like you see on this label here. This label is probably the Centrum label. It is one of the most popular multi. Everybody knows about it. And even that, they have all these ingredients I say here, it is inside there. And it is specifically, I look at it, it's got something called titanium dioxide. Right, that is an ingredient that was used for, and is still used for, making paints. So they are not the best things, I suppose, but then they have to be there. So in order to make a tablet, right? Some of them are for coloring and things like that. So now we are going to offer an alternative. In fact, we are the only company, I think, that in Australia that would be marketing the isotonic form of supplementation, right? And to say the least, I don't think we've got any competition here, okay? So the word isotonic comes from two root words. One of them is iso on the left, and on the right is the word tonic. You combine together, it's isotonic. So let's see what these words really mean. So the tonic, on the tonic side of things, the tonic word is really a short form for tonicity, okay? And what is tonicity? Tonicity is a measurement of the dissolved molecules, that means the particles that dissolve in water. For example, if you put some sugar in the water, that is a solution of sugar molecules in water. Right. So how much of these things are dissolved in the water is scientifically called osmolarity or osmotic pressure. Right. And it is measured by a machine that you see at the bottom right-hand corner. And this is what the company uses regularly, almost on a daily basis. Dr. Mark Lang uses this very much to ensure that all the products that come into the warehouse in America comply to that correct specification of isotonic. Right, so to explain a little bit about cells. So we are talking about nutrition, we are talking about cells, things that goes in and out of our cells, right? What logically you think that goes into the cells would be nutrients, and what comes out will be the waste material. Generally, that's what it is, right? Whether it's a blood cell or on the right-hand side, you can see the yellow one, which is one of the other cells. They are just representations of a cell, that's all. It's not pertaining to any particular cell. And the fluid that exchange between, that goes in and out of the cells, right, is driven by what we call an osmotic pressure or the osmolarity. The reason why that has to be so is because of the fact that in a cell, in our cells are very, very small. It doesn't have a pump to draw things in. It doesn't have a pump to spill it out again, right? So it needs some way of getting in the nutrients and throwing out what is not wanted, right? And this is actually facilitated by the pressure created by the fluids that's surrounding it and the fluid within the cell itself, okay? And that process is called osmosis, right? And most of you, I think some of you or most of you have learned about this in school. Okay, it is about the movement of a fluid from a less dense media, that means a little bit not so strong or a little bit dilute kind of media, to a stronger or denser media, right? And through a semi-permeable membrane, in this case we're talking about, is the cell wall. So anything that is less dense, which is very dilute, will move in the direction of something that is very concentrated or very strong or concentrated in a way, right? So that's how it works. So it doesn't need the pump. The fluid itself creates that pressure, right, between cell and the surrounding liquids or whatever we consume. Okay, ingredients like supplementation, nutrients and stuff like that. So that's what osmosis. Right, the other side of the word iso means same, consistent osmolarity of fluids within the cell and its surrounding. So we are talking about a medium which is in a certain consistency that is balancing the inside of the cell, the fluids inside the cell, and the fluid outside the cell. When it is balanced, we call this fluid in a condition called isotonic. So here's a little diagram of three different sets of cells. They are actually the same three. One of them is represents the blood cells on top. The other one represents our normal cells at the bottom here. So if all the three of them sit in an isotonic fluid, will be fine. Whatever comes into the cell and whatever goes out to the cell will balance up, and the cell would be fine. We have no problems whatsoever. there's a kind of a nutrient and fluid exchange between the cell and whatever we feed into our system, our circulation system. But suppose we have this this media outside of our cells. Okay, say we take these cells and we either put a lot of water into that solution, okay, or we remove the molecules from inside there that dissolve in there, so it will become a very weak solution. So what then happens is that the fluid around the cells, outside of the cell, will move in a lot more than those that's coming out. So in that situation, what happens is that the cell will get bloated up, it will swell up, and eventually it might even explode like you see in the blood cell on top, or it will just be damaging for the cell, right? But on the other hand, if I start to put a lot of say sugar or whatever it is, salt, sugar or something into the fluid as isotonic with the cell in there, what's going to happen is that the weaker solution or the less dense solution is inside the cell now, right? The denser solution is outside of the cell. So what then happens is that more water will leave the cell, right? So suck up the water from the cell, and the cell would become like a string, like a prune, and it is going to die, right? So the one on the left and the right, in either case, the cell is going to be damaged and it will kill itself. So in other words, all the fluids that we consume and that goes into our circulation system has to be and must be in an isotonic solution, right? Must be in an isotonic form. So the measurement of the isotonic osmolarity is in what we call millimosmoles per liter. And the figure there is 290. So isotonic measures 290 milliosmoles per liter. So that's what our body fluids measures. That's what our isotonic solutions measure to, okay? And here's a little, this will be a microscopic shot of some blood cells that's been put into hypertonic and a hypotonic, and the one in the middle is isotonic. So you can see that what I just showed you in single cells, actually you can see what happens to it when you put them into a solution that is 300, which is which is hyper, right? Or you put it onto the other side, you get problems. So what are some of the isotonic solutions? Which is eye drops, mother's milk, the solution you use to wash your contact lenses, injections. Okay, and also you can recognize that there's a drip there. All the drips that the hospital uses into your body to be transferred into your body, they are all in the condition called isotonic, right? For the reasons where I just explained to you in the previous 2 slides. But we eat, we drink, right? But do the food we eat and drink, are they isotonic? They obviously are not. By accident, 1 or 2 of them, sometimes once in a little while, they could be, but most of them would not be, right? Even the healthy drinks like fruit juice and things like that, they are not necessarily isotonic. In fact, most of the time, 99% of it is not. So our body needs to find a way to convert whatever we are eating, right? Whether it's in the fluid form or in a solid form or in a drink, into a form that is isotonic, in order that when it gets into our body, it does not harm our body cells, right? So this job is put onto our digestive system, okay? So digestive system that does the job, and in the middle of a digestive system, one of the most important components is our stomach. Okay, in the digestion process, hydrochloric acid, if you know hydrochloric acid, you know that it's a very strong acid. It's the one that you put in your swimming pool, and if you drop 1 drop of this acid into your cement floor, you make a hole in the cement floor, okay? And it secretes few other things in order to digest the food, right? So it may take a little while, it may take a long while for this chemical reaction that's happening on the digestive process to happen in the stomach, depending on what you eat and how long it takes to digest. And within the stomach, you have a lot of these folds in it as well. And these folds may have a tendency to trap stuff, including trapping if you're taking a tablet, whether it's maybe the smaller size tablets, it might get trapped in there for a long time, okay? So within that process, you'll find that a lot of the nutrients are lost, or a lot of nutrients undergo chemical reaction, and they lose whatever they're supposed to do, right? Lose the loss of word. Okay, anyway, you know what I mean. Okay, now at the bottom of the stomach, there's a valve there. On the top there's a valve as well that is prevent your reflux, okay, back into your throat. At the bottom, there is one valve in there called the pyloric sphincter. And this valve is normally closed. Right? It's normally closed because you don't want all the food you eat into the stomach to go right through without being digested, without being isotonic, right? So this valve is closed. And right next to the valve, just after the valve, you'll find that there are some sensors in there. There are some nerve sensors in there that senses certain condition of the fluids that come out, leaving the stomach before it gets into the duodenum, which is the small intestines, where all the absorption, where 90%, 99% of the absorption takes place. Okay, it's a very, very long small intestines. So this senses signals to the brain to tell the brain whether to open the valve or to close the valve. Okay, so what condition are they sensing for? This sensor senses for isotonic condition of anything that comes out, from the stomach. When it senses that it's isotonic that is coming out, it will say, it's good now. Let me send a signal to the brain to tell the brain that, okay, now it's all right to open that valve there, and the valve will open and the isotonic stuff will come out of the stomach. Okay, it doesn't just empty the whole stomach, but it will still gradually pump it out into our intestines to be absorbed by the circulation system. So the natural choice is, of course, if we take a supplement in an isotonic form, right? All these processes I went through, like the digestive process, the hydrochloric acid and stuff like that, will not happen, okay? And being a fluid, an isotonic fluid does not get stuck in the stomach folds. Okay, so it totally bypasses the digestive process, and because of that, instead of getting, let's say, from a tablet or from something else, something that could be as low as a few percent to maybe at best possibly about 25 to 35% absorption right after the digestive process. That's what remains after digestion. Okay, so you find that some of the products that we see on the shelf, like for example calcium, they come in 1,000 milligram or 2,000, some of them even, right? 1,000 milligram, if your body is able to absorb it, it's going to create a lot of problems to your body, right? But because of the fact that brands like Caltrate and others, they have to pump it very high because they know that the absorption power, I wouldn't say the absorption power, I would say that it's very, very hard for the calcium, calcium compound to kind of dissolve and become into an isotonic condition. So the absorption is very, very low. So they bump it up to very high so that they know that at the end of it, it may only get a few percent, maybe get 10% if you're lucky, right? So that's what it is. But this diagram, most of you see, I think all of you have seen this diagram before, is what I've just explained to you is the top part of this diagram, and it is good to know what I mean when you bring it. It's good to carry this diagram always with you, right? It is the easiest way to explain our difference between ourselves and what you can get out there, and why we say that we are different. Okay, what shown down there is probably a summary of what I just explained. And for a tablet, it is really, really unpredictable. Problem with having, there's one thing I've heard some people taking a tablet with the isotonic. It is a no-no. You never take your tablet with your isotonic, because once you get in the stomach, what is going to happen? Right? That tablet is going to go into your intestine as a tablet together with the isotonic formula. So you're actually wasting the tablet. So empty stomach, drink your isotonic, don't take a tablet together. Okay, so on the bottom section where you see the tablet, God knows, it could be take about 4 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, nothing is going to happen to it. Right? It takes about 40 minutes to around maybe up to about 4 hours for the food in the stomach to be digested. Okay, and it is necessary when you take a tablet for it to sit down there, because you need the stomach to digest it. Otherwise, it will not break down. It will have to be broken down. And here is a little diagram that is a study done by some university to show that the OPC3, isotonic OPC3, which are the bars in purple, in the isotonic formulation. And the other bars are the orange ones, which are the OPC3, exactly the same OPC3, except that they actually compress it to a tablet and get the other group of people who take the orange one in the tablet form. And not only that, they get them to take it in a tablet form with exactly the same amount of water as we do when we do the isotonic, for example, 60 mils of water for one serving, right? Even with that same amount of water and the same amount of OPC3, there is a huge difference, right? So here you see that if you look at it by comparison, the purple one is probably at least about 1.5 times what the orange one is. Okay, and both the same products, except taken in a different way. Right, talking about tablets, here's a little X-ray diagram of 3 tablets that's been taken by some people. Right, and it has got, by the time this shot is of the large intestine, 3 days, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, and the same day, the tablets are still somewhere in the pipeline. Okay, once you reach large intestine, forget it. It will never get absorbed. Okay, and in some hospitals, you find that a lot of tablets are choking up the system, right? The sewage system. And here's another one that shows some tablets too. This is just a little, little drawing about, or a little picture about how we make it. You can either mix it in the cup that's provided, 1 serve and 2 serve. You can use the cup and you can repeat doing it if you have 3 or 4 serve. But if it is like what we do, we normally do about 5 or 6 or 6 to 8. In fact, we do. So we use a cup that is provided by our marketeers. You can buy them. They're very cheap. They're probably about $1 each or something. Okay, so use that whenever you sell an isotonic product, provide them with a cup. Okay, that makes things a little bit easier for them. And also something that I want to say, some of you may not know, most of you probably know this thing. There is something called an IsoSnap that help us to pour the powder slowly and control the pouring of the powder. A lot of us just simply, if you simply pour the powder from when you open up the foil, it's going to go all over the place. It's extremely difficult. So I would suggest that use the IsoSnap. If you sell a product, provide an IsoSnap or a few IsoSnaps to your customers. They are very cheap as well. They're probably $1 or 50 cents each or something. So that's the preparation part of it. Right, I'm showing you this because there are a lot of people who are asking us about this this composition of the isotonic, and this, what you see on the right hand side, the main components of, they are not the active components, right? They are necessary in there to make the component, to make the product isotonic. Okay, most of them are to create the isotonicity. Some of them are sweeteners. Don't be afraid of the sweetener. The sweetener are made with mostly with fructose, and this fructose is not the high, whatever it is, not the corn one. So it is the fruit sugar, and they are very high GI. They are very low GI and not high GI sugars. So that Kitty will know, right? Between the fructose and normal sucrose or glucose. And there are also some drying agents in there. You have to keep it dry because of the fact that some of these powders can absorb water from the atmosphere. So we do need some drying agents in there. And you'll notice that we have a bicarbonate in there, right? The reason for having the bicarbonate is so that when it reacts with the active ingredient, it becomes a fluid, a liquid. Like for example, calcium. The calcium in isotonic calcium, it is calcium carbonate, and it would never dissolve. You can put a spoon of calcium carbonate in water. After 5 days, it's still going to be a spoon of calcium carbonate. So there are some acids in there, like the citric acid, malic acid, and ascorbic acid, and a few of them, that are used as acids to dissolve the calcium. So what we're effectively getting is the calcium citrate, malic, and ascorbate in the calcium. Okay, but why, you ask, why didn't we give them just calcium citrate or the malic, but we cannot do that because of the fact that any of this water-soluble calcium is very, very, very good for absorbing atmospheric water. So we cannot do that. So our calcium is really a very, very special form of calcium. You notice on the calcium, we do not put 1,000 or 2,000. They are only about 200 something, less than 300 milligrams, because that is the only amount that our body can absorb at any point in time. So we give you what the body needs, and not, if you put 1,000 there, it's going to generate 1,000 for you. But if your body decides that it absorbs 1,000 milligrams of calcium every day, I guarantee you that you're going to get some other problems inside there, right? One of the problems is that the calcium will not allow other minerals to be absorbed, which is not good, and sometimes it can cause your bone spills as well. Right? Okay. The other ingredient you look at is potassium bicarbonate. Now, when you mix up the isotonic, you'll find that it bubbles up, and the bubbles actually is created by the acid reaction with the bicarbonate. And that reaction creates carbon dioxide, which is harmless gas. This is what we breathe out anyway. So that carbon dioxide serves a function too. Okay, I'll explain to you that stuff in the next slide, I think. So, so as a summary, here are the main advantages of isotonic formulation. Number one, it does not need to be digested. It doesn't need to be exposed to strong acids and all sorts of stuff in the stomach. Number two, gives you alternative to pill and tablets, and a lot of people, about 50% of adults, or maybe the older adults and children, they cannot swallow a tablet, and there is no fillers and binders which are of no use to the body, but our system needs to get rid of them. This can be over time, can be, if you take one whole handful of tablets, you know, a day, your body will find it very hard to get rid of, and you get things like, you know, your stones and things like that happening, you know, in your body. Number three, now this is what the carbon dioxide is for. The bicarbonate with acid create carbon dioxide, and what this carbon dioxide does is that it temporarily, just for a short moment, wipes out some of the mucus layer that is inside the intestinal tract, and it allows the absorption to be a lot quicker than when the mucus layer is there. So that's a use for that, the main function of that potassium bicarbonate. Right, people who have got digestive tract problems, some people have their stomach removed too. You'll be surprised to have stomach removed. So some of these people have challenges from digestion. They cannot digest food, or they can hardly absorb anything because the food doesn't get digested. So ideally, with these people, isotonic is the best solution for them if they want to take supplementation. Next, again, the diagram, very fast absorption, over 95% get absorbed. By the way, if you have seen one of the posts, somebody posted something about the coronavirus, that China is actually using vitamin C injections. That is isotonic vitamin C, directly injected into the system to try to curb the effect of the virus. Okay, the bad effects of the virus, and they're actually using it very successfully. And what we have as isotonic vitamin C is really the next best thing. Okay, aside from, we cannot go around injecting people with vitamin C, but we can supply a vitamin C that is maybe 90–95% as good as an injection. So that is powerful. Right, okay, this is the last one, which says that it provides, I would normally would call it's a bodily friendly fluid. So there's no harm to your body, it doesn't do anything bad to you. Okay, the other thing is about the science of it is that we use only the best pharmaceutical grade ingredients. We do not just go and grab anything the cheapest possible and stick it in there, right? We use pharmaceutical grade ingredients, and only trusted manufacturers that adhere to the GMP standards of manufacturing practices. We have approval number from TGA, FDA, which is America, HSA, which is Singapore. I think DCA is Malaysia. Right, so we use the best science. Although we do not manufacture the products, we keep the product. We actually formulate the products ourselves. Right, our scientist, Dr. Mark Lang, is there doing it and searching and doing the QC on an ongoing basis. So isotonic delivery. So here goes the science behind the isotonics. I hope this has been useful to you. And bear in mind then that not all supplements are created equal. All right, I'll drop off here and I'll pass it back to Vera.
Thank you, Kevin. That is most informative. I think we would get a recording of that and slowly go through it again. I think it will be very, very interesting. Thanks for that. And now we've still got that. Let's move on to our next topic. Oh, this is the sharing of our favorite Oh, yes. Any questions? Shall we leave it to, we might have a few minutes in the end, and then, or you can type in your questions, and then Kevin might be able to address that. And yes, the next topic is...
Oh, Kevin, can you unshare first?
Sorry?
We can ask Kevin to unshare, then I can share the rest of the agenda item.
Okay. Yeah.
Kevin, do you mind unsharing your screen? Thank you.
Yeah, we can.
It's still sharing, isn't it? Okay. This will stop.
Oh, yeah, it's great. Yeah. Oh, topic 3. We go to the favorite products, our go-to products or partner store products. So any of you would like to share or just, you know, if anybody could just jump on and show out your favorite product. If you have anything or your favorite partner store that you're using during the week.
Yeah, Vera, I have one. I purchased from Expository, a very, very good book that I started reading yesterday about this ballerina. So anyway, yeah, Expository is one of my favorite bookstores. Free shipping, and you know, is comparably cheaper than other bookstores online as well.
Oh, this bookstores. Anybody else? What about supermarkets? Yeah, I do a lot of online supermarkets myself, but over here, unfortunately, not partner store. But Expedia, normally I would use my favorite ones are always Expedia. Are they still on? And online travel. Even Emirates is with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Hi, Vera.
Hi.
This is Lily here.
Hi, Lily.
Just want to share my new favorite product. This is the pure collagen, which you can get from the global shop. So it comes in vials like this for those of you who haven't ordered it yet. And every night I take one.
Yeah.
Vial. My husband also takes one. So the collagen that we have got is good for skin, hair, nails, and our cartilage, because we have got the 2 very good types of collagen in it, type 1 and type 3. So all that you need to do is to snip. Live demonstration here.
You're drinking it now, Lily.
I'm drinking it now because it's nearly bedtime anyway. So you snip it off. You can dilute this with water if you don't like the berry flavor. It's a bit like a gel-like, but it tastes very nice. I like it anyway. And it's kind of like a little dessert thing too. So very good. And I know that it's going to be good for my skin too. How good is that? So I thought I'll share that.
So when do you take it at bedtime? Is that bedtime?
I take it at night. I take it at night because I find that's the most convenient time. It's not Isotonix. You can take it with food, before food, with water, or undiluted.
Okay, that's a wonderful product.
Very cool product. So just thought I'll share that.
Yes.
Very nice.
Great. Thanks for that. That's why I was just wondering about that product. It should be a very everybody's favorite.
Yes, and you can take this together with any of our Isotonix range because it actually adds to whatever that we are taking because it's a different it doesn't clash with anything, basically. All right. So Dr. Dira says you can take this with Isotonix, astaxanthin, with whatever else. I suggest that you take your Isotonix as per normal before food, and then this one you can take anytime. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that, Lily.
Welcome.
Any others?
Yeah, I'll share another one.
Okay, right.
This, I don't know where you can see, Royal Spa Scalp Revival Scrub. Okay.
Oh, right.
So this one, I recently interviewed a friend of mine who is actually a hair specialist. And she talks about, you know, a lot of us actually are not aware that, you know, our scalp also needs exfoliation, not just our face. And so when I asked her to evaluate this, she's actually, you know, a specialist. It's with hair and scalp specialist, you know, like it's a specific kind of doctor, really. So she looked at this and she looked at our ingredients and everything. She really, really likes it. So now I've got, you know, a captivated customer. I didn't even, you know, think of using this myself, but when she talks about, you know, scalp, and I remember we have this, so I ordered this and to show her to evaluate. So yeah, so guys, if you haven't tried this, you know, it's really good because it actually revives our scalp, because, you know, it actually builds up as we wash our hair. A lot of the times, you know, we really need to have that exfoliate as much as our skin needs exfoliation mask. So yeah, so this is something I like.
Is that the brown sugar scrub?
No, this one is the scalp revival scrub. The
Oh.
brown sugar one is for the body, you know, to scrub
Okay.
your body.
All right.
This one is
Okay.
for your scalp, for your hair.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thanks. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Any more to share? Okay. Hello? Yeah. Okay, then shall we move on to the next topic? We have back office weekly accountability. I'm not so familiar with this one. I like, some of you are very good, I understand. And I like to invite someone from the participants if they have anything. Or Judy, is Judy okay to share with us?
Yep.
I know she's extremely good in this. She has been doing it.
Yes, Vera, I can share.
Oh, that's
And
great.
I knew that I'm going to share. So I watched the video for the second time,
Okay.
which back up the idea about doing the weekly accountability report. So for those people who were able to go to the calling from Kevin Buckman on the 3rd of March last week, you would have heard some teaching from him. And if you haven't, I'm sure Market Australia is going to post the link, which everybody can watch again. But it was a very short calling, and which is just 27 minutes, cover everything we need to know, how to use the weekly accountability report in order to do the 90 days fast track. So there are some takeaway notes I have written. I'm sure many of us come into this business wanted to major in different fields. Some people are more comfortable talking about the Isotonix products. So then we may listen to fields calling in order to do the trial size marketing. To try to retail our Isotonix product or the daily essential kit. Some business partners, you may be doing the Motive or the Lumiere de Vie skincare. Some of us may be majoring in the web center. So although we do have different majors, but we can use the weekly accountability report to monitor the way we do our major. So it is very applicable no matter which major we do. So basically, a few things that he said that I learned is commitment. The goal, we can always have a team of one by doing no matter which business plan ourselves. But if we are able to do it with one person in our team, in your common lake, or 2 people in your team, that will be really good, because no matter which major we are doing, some people may even be doing leadership. Maybe they are their focus may be prospecting new partners, but by that we will be able to work. We can still work on our own major, but being able to apply the same 90 days for the whole team. Yep, by doing the weekly activities and also reporting the weekly progress as well. So I think I will let everyone to look at the video to see what is your very own takeaway regarding the weekly activities. But for the weekly progress, I would like to share, because as of before, I was focusing on doing my Isotonix products. And then I remember spending some time focusing on doing the skincare. I remember listening to the different callings, coming to the Wednesday Zoom meetings, that they were all very helpful. But since I have started doing the weekly accountability, then it led me to look at my back office a little bit more. And because there were 2 questions regarding how many new personal register customers I and my the people that I report to we need to put it. So I got to find out from my team, and also the other question is asking how many BV I personally has achieved, and also the team has achieved. So as of before, I might be just focusing on how many sales I have made during the week, but until I do this weekly accountability report, going to the back office using some of the function, then I started to look at like on a week, maybe I didn't get to sell as much, or I did not have achieve any sales, but my BV keep going up, because some of my team members were able to generate some new customers, or it is their auto ship, so they were doing it. But since their BV will come like pass through mine, so I get to appreciate to see the leverage. And since then, I started to strategically, when I when I wanted to order a couple of things from the global store, or when I know that there will be a customer coming up, then I quickly change the way I place my BV, and I started to place all the BV under my sponsored business partner, so that she will be benefited as well. So without doing that, I may not be aware of doing it. So I think like with it is quite helpful and really creates the team spirits as well. So that will be my sharing. So and also it helps me to keep track. And I think at first it seems a bit daunting, as of, oh, I have to do this report. But after doing it quite a few times, I feel that every time when I do it, because I get used to it. So when I do it, I know, oh, on the new week, this is something I can focus on, or maybe something I'm quite confident. So let's focus on presenting the business to somebody. So that's my sharing about doing the weekly accountability report. So yeah, encourage everyone to have a try.
Yes. Thank you so much, Judy. That was so, so beneficial. I'm sure we've learned a lot from you. I mean,
I just want to
yes,
add,
yes.
Bye.
I wanted to add something there after what Judy was sharing, because a lot of times when we think about doing accountability report or going through the whole process, whether it's 6 weeks, 90 days, or like even just 30 days, like there are different patterns. I mean, of course, the one that Judy was sharing was from Kevin Buckman, who shared this recently. I find that, it really helps us to be a team player, because many times I'm sure that as we're going through the business, we would be only thinking about ourselves as the individual, who does the business. And we don't really see the leverage. But as you do the accountability, you certainly can see that a lot more. So I certainly feel it's something that, I know that many people have told me, and I know that when I first started doing accountability, I also had the same feeling that it seems to be daunting. But if we believe in what JR has been teaching with MMAC, measure, monitor, adjust, if we don't do accountability, how are we going to know our numbers, first of all? Like if I was to ask those of you who might not be doing the accountability, would you know how your team has been doing? Would you know how many new customers has your team been adding? Would you know how many BBs, IBBs? We wouldn't know. So it's not only just about us personally doing it, but it's actually the leverage that we can actually see, but also supporting one another, and the synergy that 1 + 1 is not only 2, but 3 and more. So that's why, seeing how Judy has been able to not only do it herself, but to benefit, of course, the person that she personally sponsors, but the whole team as well. So I just want to, say, Judy, I'm very, very grateful that you're doing it. And I've learned from you as well, even though I sponsored you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm actually quite impressed, Judy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we? I know Kitty has got something that she like to comment on the upcoming announce, or on the upcoming events. Shall we hand it to you, Kitty?
Okay, thank you so much. Before I continue, I just wanted to say thank you, Vera, for leading tonight and chairing tonight's meeting. Really, really appreciate it. And I want to encourage every single one of you who are on this call, whether you're new or have been in the business for a little while, to be contributing that way, because then that you'll be able to feel more comfortable to speak publicly, I would say. But before we continue, maybe if there is anyone on this call that has any question for Kevin, perhaps from his presentation, if you want to either unmute yourself or if you want to just type it in the group chat. I'll just quickly go through some of the things that has been written in or typed in the chat that may be useful for those of you who might not have been following. The bit that Kevin was sharing about the different companies, like the GMP, which is the good manufacturing practice. So Kevin, do you want to just enlighten us some of these different practices in different countries and why they are so crucial? Because I always find people, especially new team members, ask these sort of questions. Are they really that credible, or their credential and stuff like that?
Kitty, I have actually replied that message.
Right. Yep. So GMP is good manufacturing practice. TGA is Therapeutic Goods Administration, which is in Australia. FDA is the Food and Drug Administration in USA. And then there is the Singapore and Malaysia one, which is the Health Authority. So yeah, definitely, as you can see, all of these different, practices and companies and administration and authority shows us that the products that we offer through Isotonix, and of course the others, are of the highest quality. So yeah, so thank you for that, Kevin. I think that's basically that. So yeah, finally, I just want to, because it's right at 10 o'clock now, just really quickly share some of the events that are happening in Melbourne. And of course, I'm aware that, there are, of course, people from this group, they are from different cities, but I'm only aware of the events in Melbourne. So for those of you who are in Melbourne, if you'd like to either take a picture of this, or if you want to ask me to send them to you, these are the upcoming events in March and April. Or of course the Zoom ones, every single one of you are very, very welcome to be participating as well, whether you're in Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore, New Zealand, Adelaide, Perth, doesn't matter. All right, so next Monday, if you've got any Cantonese prospects that you would like to show them about our business, next Monday at 9 o'clock, we're going to be having a Zoom meeting to present the Cantonese business. Then with Melbourne, we are going to be having a monthly lunchtime business meeting. We are planning to have once a month, probably on the 2nd or 3rd Tuesday of every month, in National Australia Bank Village, for an hour. If you've got people that are in working in the city or around Docklands, that area, to invite them along to have lunch with us, and we'll be presenting the plan or showing some of our products. And the reason why we started doing that with the Melbourne Committed Group, or the MMD, is because we learned from Mr. Shopping Annuity, Carl Eklund, that they've been doing this for years and years now, and they found really good results from having that, because there are a lot of people that are either in the corporate world working in the city, or those that are entrepreneurs that will be going to the city. And if we are able to share the product or the business with them during lunchtime, is a good opportunity. So any one of you, either in Melbourne, or of course those that are of you who are not in Melbourne but have prospects that are in Melbourne, you're very welcome to plug and leverage to this as well. And next Thursday, the 19th, we're gonna have our UBP, the monthly UBP in Doncaster, and then I'm going to be facilitating the Monday after, on the 23rd, on Zoom, the 4 pillars to success in TLS. So if you have anyone that want to reach their weight loss and wellness goals, you're very welcome to leverage that as well. And then we have Dennis Friends webinar and other events. So I won't go into all the details. You can actually take a look at it or take a picture. But for those of you who are in Melbourne who want to do your Master UFO, of course, we have Basic 5 that's coming up in South Bank in Eureka on the 28th, on the Saturday. And we also have the Advanced Skin Solutions and Motives Marketing Workshop for those of you who are interested in learning more about motives and skincare as well. Okay, so then in April, we've got other events too. So that's basically what I'd like to share about our upcoming events. And as you can see, we have quite a lot of events that are actually done on webinar, and you're all very, very welcome, whether you're in Melbourne or not, to leverage and attend. So I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, Angie.
Yes, can you go back to the bottom, because there was a screening asked a question about calcium, and I know that is a question a lot of people don't have the answer. So can you read Kemi's answer out, please?
Sure.
First check.
Yep, Xylene calcium content is 222 milligrams. So that's one dose, which is like, the one of the capful, which is with the 60 ml, then is 222 milligram per serve at any point of time. And our body can only absorb around 300 milligrams. So that's why we cannot take at one time more than one serving, because ours is just below 300. So that's why when Kevin was sharing, a lot of those that are in the market that offers was like 1,000 and 1,005, caltrate and all the others. It's not useful because our body cannot absorb that. So that's why excessive calcium, as Kevin has indicated here, may actually prevent absorption of other minerals, and that's not helpful. So that's why we are encouraged to, of course, say in the morning you can take 222, which is 1 capful with the 60 ml, along with your other cocktail of Isotonix, let's say with the daily essentials. But if you actually need to have better bones, better teeth, and like I know there are a lot of people that are not having, like when I do my 10-liter scale with TLS, many people, particularly ladies who've given birth, would actually have low bone density, or so then I would encourage them to have 1 dose, which is 272 milligram in the morning, and then before you go to sleep or in the evening, empty stomach, take another one. So that's what I would encourage people to do, but don't take more than 1 dose at a time. Just like when you talk to people that take like calcium tablets or caltrate and all the others, and have issues because of the fact that many of them are like more like way above 300 milligram that our body can absorb 1,000, like Kevin said, and it's not helpful at all. So any of you are interested, like Zelene, I actually have an article that talks about all of that about calcium. So if you like, you can approach me and I can send you that article. So I think that's basically it. And thank you again, Kevin, for that very, very informative and helpful science behind our Isotonix. And I highly encourage, whether you're here right now or those of you who are watching the replay, the recording, to go back and learn how you can actually use a scientific way to explain to people why our Isotonix is superior in bioavailability, and also so many other ways. And it's just really wonderful to understand that we are definitely the best nutraceuticals on earth. I have no doubt about that. Right, Kevin?
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening in.
All right, until next week, take care. And I hope that, you've all had a lot of value like I have from learning from Kevin. And also thank you, Judy, for your amazing sharing of your accountability experience as well.
You're welcome. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mira, for sharing tonight. I appreciate you, darling.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
good
you,
night.
everybody. Good night.
Good night.